Karibuni, karibuni, hit like, share the link. Let's go. Mko 30 already. Kasarani naona. Me, I thought you guys were not online bana. Unajua leo sikuwa nimeweka reminder. Nyinyi mko, you are committed. Kama unanisikia, andika mahali upo. Bungoma, the village girl, all the way from Bungoma. Asante sana. In fact, today I was tweeting about your women rep. Anani bamba sana. Naitwa Catherine Amanyo, anani bamba sana. Frank Babs, Atlanta, welcome. LD, Paul Nginyo, Wycliffe Akojuja, Gitao from Watamu is locked. Trade Hive, tuned in from Kikuyu, asante sana. Operator Ngaya ako Kamwangi. Steven Juma ako Kisumu. Savage Zef ako Roiro. Martin Wahome ako Thika. Gibo ako Utawala, as usual, watching from Machakos. Huyo anaitwa Steven Kituku Ngui. Karibuni sana. Niko hapa kwa sababu yenyu. Mark ako Kahawa Sukari. I'm here because of you, man. You keep me going. Vincent Adeka ako Mombasa. Andy Drew ako Kisumu. Twende hii maneno. Mko wapi? Hit your like, hit that like, share the link bana, tuanzie mapema teke. Topic ni moto. Hii observation ni mimi nilifanya na nikaiweka Twitter kidogo, naona iko na 100 and Robbie ako Ongata Rongai, Joel Henry Mombasa Mvita, JMN Diani, asante sana. Mudhoni Wanganga Dar es Salaam. DJ Stitchy ako Mombasa, asante sana. DJ Stitchy, unachezanga club gani huko Mombasa? Mombasani. Trade Hive, asante sana mahali huko. Ali Gambo wako Doha, santeni sana. Nakuru, David Kamau, ni uliona nilitweet kuhusu governor wenyu Keheka. Rahim Tula kama kawaida Essex. Catherine Njeri ako Karen. Malik Mohamed ako Antwerpen in Belgium. Isaac Muirori ako Isli. Mko wapi? Amshei link bana. Hit like bana. Dagoretti Pinches 254. Langata Vinci ako huko. Lead Tech. Anasema nini? Masege Mogeni from Somalia. Asante sana, karibuni. 047 ni Nairobi. Dennis Ochieng, Durham, North Carolina. Ondiek Madness, santeni sana. Mko wapi? Hit like. I only have 31 likes. Hit like, share that link. Twende. Within the next 2 minutes tukue tumejaza watu so moja, tuanze mapema teke. Mwenye atachelewa ataona repeat. South Africa PK, santi sana. Tuko 80 sasa. Haya, share link. Watu 20 sasa. DJ Yadla, karibu sana kama kawa kama dawa. Twende. McGregor Aziza Konyali Mombasa, karibu sana, karibu. Nani hao wengine? Wako wapi hao wengine? Namba ya M-Pesa iko hapo kwa description. Usijifanye haujaiona. Usikue kazi yako ni kutuma tu kwa wasichana wanaonyeshana. Wanaonyeshana madhende, wanaonyeshana dynasty. Wanaonyeshana tu nyasha. Hiyo ndio kazi yenu, kutuma doo huko. Tumeni kwa wenye wanamfungua macho. Tumeni kwa wenye wanamfungua macho. Musikue ati pesa ni saa zote ni kutuma na huko. Jana kwanza mliniacha hivyo nyi wase. Mko down. Na mnataka ni kujange daily? Mnataka ni kujange daily? Tunamuona nyinyi. Mawama kama kawaida, Izmir, Turkey, asante sana. Tuko 96. Georges Akoroiro Kamaki, asante sana. Leo mumejaza so moja haraka sana. Queen Sheila kama kawaida, Turkey, thank you very much Queen. Umoja 3 Gadhande, Umoja 3, asante sana. Mko wapi? Mwapi Odhero JK Kenya kama kawaida, ndio huyo. High Court suspends case on Margaret Nyakango. Hiyo ni topic ingine wewe. Si leo mumeona nimemwekea topic ingine. Mwai Kario, niache kushika moto na mutira mutiraiki ya Mwai, mutiraiki ya Kanyamo. Hapana. Niko hapa naangalia tweets tu. Sasa nitakuwa nikifanya zote simultaneously. Twitter ndio kumewaka moto. Sasa Kansas City, Shadi Kosgei. This is it. I was drawing parallels. With because everything that is happening now, and if you don't take the time to study what happened in the Moi era and relate it to what is happening in the Ruto era, nani huyo ako Burundi? Ndio huyo Michael Henry Samson, karibu anjo. Sasa tumeanza sasa tumeingia topic sasa. Kama kawa tumeingia topic. So if you don't learn, these are not, I have seen somebody there alluding to the fact that, oh, these are tribal topics. Of course, anyone who doesn't want to have a sensitive conversation or a difficult conversation will, hata ukiitwa na bibi yako akwambie anataka muongee hivi, obviously you're going to say, you're going to gaslight yourself into assuming that the topic at hand is not important, but we are our identity. We cannot refrain from that, because even in the civil service, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, wanatokanga every year, wanatoa, these are the communities who are working in the civil service, in the government agencies. So why shouldn't we have the same topics? Because what? Because we are inventing the next rockets? You think Kenya imefika mahali ya nini? We are still bogged down because we have to get rid of this generation from the elements of leadership. So we have to have the conversation. For instance, and I've told you, if you cannot draw a parallel, then you are doing a disservice to yourself and to the entire community at large, or the country. I have said it severally that Ruto's presidency, there is no difference between Ruto's presidency and Moi's presidency. Ruto is Moi 2.0, and what he's doing is just the same. So I drew a parallel of a couple of influential people. Yeah, just a minute. I extract the tweets, but it's still in the. Just a minute. Here we go. So, and this was just basic desktop study. I haven't done a deep dive. I can see right now the tweet has 126,000 views, and I said Andrew Kibe, Samidoh, Boniface Mwangi, David Ndii, Mutahi Ngunyi, Isaac Mwaura. They cannot be the biggest and the loudest proponents of the Ruto regime. It cannot be a coincidence that all of them are hailing from the Mount Kenya region. And so I'm asking, why isn't Sudi, Cherargei, Aaron Cheriot, you'll never see them. Occasionally, when things are hot, they'll pull up occasionally. But if you compare them and their public pronouncements vis-a-vis Ichungwa, Ndindi, Nyoro, Moses, Kuria, Asante, wenye wanaingia sahi, if you compare them, you'll see that the Mount Kenya people are doing the most. They are the hornbills. They become the hornbills. Like yesterday, Andrew Kibe did a video that I think got 200,000 views, and he was just saying he has just landed in Kenya and he doesn't see any problem. I mean, compared to the noise that we are making, just because he's using a very flawed analysis. He's using Asante Paul from Ukunda. He's using a very flawed analysis to explain or to try and defend bad governance. That he's come, he's seen a few people here, he's seen people clubbing. People don't, when people go to the club, it's not necessarily because they are doing well. Some are escaping toxic wives. Wives become toxic because zilao, mi najuanga zilao akikuja, not like these other guys, man. Karibu sana Zilao. So Ruto is more Moi than Moi himself. I'm telling you. That's Stephen Ngoi is telling you that. So he has come, and Kibe has done a video, an unsolicited video. He already is trying to raise money from Kenyans to build his app, which was a good initiative if he concentrated on that and not the politics, because we are here 24/7. We know the reality. We know how our roads are messed up. We've become slaves to mechanics because roads are not fixed, and this is a national and county issue. So it's not a Ruto thing. If we are talking about it's the age-old tactic of getting other people to do your dirty work. That's chief neggers. We are here, and when we castigate corruption, we are not only castigating Ruto in our devolved units, in our counties, in our constituencies, all of them. We are, the corruption is there. So when you come and say, based on, because you are sleeping in a hotel or a nice Airbnb with convenient locations, you just get your car and drive here, suddenly there is good governance. That's rubbish, man. So Kinshasa, Asante Sana, Benzino, Kush, for you, that's why I was asking, why is it that the parrots, the hornbills, the noisemakers of the Kenya Kusha shit show seem to be coming from Mount Kenya region? Today I saw the lady called Mercy Tarus, and I tweeted her post that she was saying that Mandago, Barorot, and Chelim, the governor there, Kibe has hosted Itumbi on his channel. Wagwan guy though, thanks Muturi. Talk football, Tyrone, thank you very much. You see, so we, what was I saying? Sorry, I have to multitask different components of this life. That's why it's alive. That's you have to bear. So the lady called Mercy Tarus in Rift Valley today was castigating those guys because they haven't refunded the money which they stole from them through the Finland scholarship scams. You see, so in the same light, so we are wondering, why is it that the pro-Ruto bandwagon and sentiment is always coming from Mount Kenya? Even Rigiji, every day, like yesterday, he was at, I don't know whether he was in Nyeri or at a church service. Zilao anasema Kibe ni kibaraka ni fisi. Kife ni Kagege Pro Max. I gave Kibe my first dislike on YouTube when he started defending Ruto. 2 days later, the channel was deleted. Oh, well, we shouldn't be happy that the channel was deleted, because free speech is free speech. We don't mind anyone harboring their own opinions, but when it's against conventional wisdom, when it's done deliberately to provoke outrage, because you can be a policy custodian of this regime without necessarily coming to tell us that you guys are complaining, you are taunting us, you guys are being unfair, you guys are I don't know what. Is always from that context, while we are on the ground 24/7. And you didn't have to wade in this topic, then you pull up. And someone like Boniface Mwangi, if you look at one of his tweets, he's talking about he went, like he was invited by the head of public service, Felix Kosgei, to address a meeting about police reforms. And then he says that polisi ni rafiki. Brayo from Slovakia, asante sana, karibu. Police, the relationship between police and the public in Kenya has always been flawed. So when you say polisi ni rafiki, and we already have the numbers of, especially like now, the maandamano period, how many innocent protesters were shot and killed, others are wounded, others will never recover because they are whatever. So why would you even say something like that? You're telling us that you're working for the regime, but you still want to maintain the street cred of an opposition activist. But we cannot allow you, because the contradiction is glaring. You see, you want the street is like Samidoh. Samidoh's Kimani Ndini Asante. Samidoh appeals to the female gender on behalf of the regime. That's why the music he makes subtle establishment, lyrics and content like that. And you want male street cred while this is what you're doing for the regime. You cannot have your cake and eat it. Yeah? Canada, Detroit, asante sana, Robert Kiberia. You cannot, this is not, you cannot have your cake and eat it. You decide. But you want street cred, you want to be gangster, you want to look like you what, and we can decipher from your tweets that you already sold yourself out. Zilao nilikuambia hawezi kosa come through. Zilao come through, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wenzako tu wanatumia Njoki Morira pesa za kuona nyash. Kuona Nyashinski. wenzako hapa. We Zion Kenya tulisema hapa hatutaki hongera, hapa M-Pesa iko kwa description. Hongera peleka nyumbani. So, and then you look at Ndii, Mutahi Ngunyi. They are the ones who are always Ndii polarizing tweets, defending these government's flawed policies. You understand? Defending them in, with a lot of gusto, with a lot of enthusiasm, more than the people in Rift Valley. And so I was drawing parallels between them. And if you remember, in the Moi era, we had now these prominent Kikuyus who are loudest. So there was Kariuki Chotara, there was Keheka Kemani, there was JJ Kamotho, there was Kuria Kanyinge. Those are the few and the loudest. They were the loudest chatterboxes. Maybe Ukambani mulikuwa na mulumutisia. But the guys who were going, they were sticking their necks out for Moi was these people. And Akina Biwot were very silent. Akina Biwot were not talking. Afroman, asante sana Mr. David Chege from Seattle, asante sana, kama dawa, asante for pulling up. So, why is it that every time we have a presidency from the Rift Valley, it's always Mount Kenya, a select people of Mount Kenya who are, throwing themselves, pretending to be the custodians of the regime, doing the most, sanitizing crimes against humanity, sanitizing economic genocide by those regimes. There has to be a correlation. But again, it all taps into personal greed, personal ambition. You think that when you are against the grain, that now you're going to get benefit from the regime. But this regime will never reward them commensurate to the value of the propaganda they are spewing. It will never reward them. You see, this is just like, you don't have, it's almost masking the fact that you have nothing else to offer. So Moses Kuria has nothing else to offer. He doesn't have like an app, an intellect, something that he can go and trade off to the regime. So to compensate, Gitsan from Mombasa, asante sana. Mwai Kario anasema is because the violence every time Kikuyus, Kales fight. No, there is no. I've told you right now, Kales are suffering like Kuyos or even worse. So we are not talking about we are not talking about those historical issues which are used to scaremonger. You understand? We are not referring to those. So this is it. You are pretending you are Ndindi Nyoro, you are Kimani Ichungwa, you are Moses Kuria. You have nothing else to offer. You have zero to offer to, as regards to value. So you have to overcompensate to get the same access as, number one, somebody who has to offer, and number two, somebody who hails from the same community as the president. You see, someone like Sudi has nothing to offer, but he's there because, number one, there is the ethnic identity. Number two, there is the historical ties they have with Ruto. Number three, they are pals. They are like, there's this guy who used to be called Noah Arapto. Noah Arapto, his only work was entertaining Moi, cracking jokes for Moi. And because of that, he was made the chairman of Blonde Raw East Africa. He was given access to money and all the government appointments, nominated MP, simply because he used to go and crack jokes with Moi. So Sudi would be the Mr. No, he would be the Noah Arab Tor of the Ruto regime. But he's there, he's a part boob, tumesema asanti iko hapo kwa namba ya M-Pesa. Iko asanti iko hapo. Since Kibe lost his YouTube channel, he has been behaving weirdly. By estimation, lost 13,000 monthly income from YouTube. I think he wants to sell to Kenya, sell out to Kenya Kushaga. I don't think it's that. I think he has already racked up a lot of money, even from his, because he had been on YouTube for the last 2 years. Makto, yes, Makto. Leshao ametujibu pale, anaitwa Makto. So, I don't think it's that. I think there is a thrill that certain people get when they are against the grain, when they are doing the most, like JJ Kamotho. He would stand up and say, Baba. He would go and kneel down in front of Moi. Like, Kalenjin government officials at the time were never subjected to such demeaning and inhumane public displays. They were never. Biwott was silent. Biwott, I think on TV he must have spoken probably maximum 1 hour over a period of 20 years. He used to come and just say, Sasa tumesema, but he was in the monies. Everything that we are talking about today, Safaricom, Mobitelea, we are talking about the independent power producers, Iber Africa, all those Westmont. He's there. He's in those deals that his grandchildren are still benefiting from his proceeds of crime to date. Kamotho became a broke guy, despite all the chattering and shouting and everything. Kamotho, by the time he was dying, he could not even afford his medical bills. So was it worth it? So I noticed when Kibaki got into power, the person who he had no time for was JJ Kamotho. Because everyone else is almost like Kina Saitoti were onboarded, and everyone else, they came from Kanu and whatnot. But Kamotho, because he had been so toxic, he was it's almost like he was antagonizing these other part of the, these other guys. He was antagonizing and taunting and provoking them. Kibaki never had any time for him. So now I'm saying it does not pay. Extreme sycophancy has no rewards. So David Ndii has to go and craft all these words trying to hoodwink donors. He has to he has to come up with G2G, telling us about a scandalous and a fraudulent fuel deal. Yeah? You see, Paul is telling you, the guys, the Kalenjins are busy striking deals. They're making chums. Well, these other guys are just yapping. Yeah, they're yapping. Ruto is the next best thing after sliced bread. So when I call them sellouts, I am drawing parallels with Kariuki Chotara. Kariuki Chotara, what did he leave other than the land he might have grabbed in Naivasha? He died just like that. Who is this other guy, Kuria Kanyinge? Apparently, he used to do. He's there, and there is no more legacy to his name. Yeah. So does it pay? Does extreme sycophancy pay? Does going against the grain? Mureithi Kiarie kutoka Thika. Kama umechelewa, uingie utafute namba ya M-Pesa hapo kwa description kama umechelewa. Don't want excuses, man. Hapa watu wanaingianga mapema. So JJ Kamotho, Kariuki, Keheka Kimani. Keheka Kimani alikuwa na mabibi kama 7. Isipokuwa sasa the daughter got a governmentship the other day. These guys whatever they invested in, the delusions on the imaginary whatever, that if we go against the grain, we will endear ourselves to Moi and thus we will benefit. It doesn't work like that. Some people, hata Ruto ni anakutafuta uko wapi, from his community or depending on, like now that guy called Devki. Yeah, Devki Timuraithi ni boomer. Africa Stories, karibu sana, karibu. That guy, this guy of Devki Steel Mills, extreme sycophancy is what Ruto rewards. No, he doesn't. Extreme sycophancy has no reward anywhere. Extreme sycophancy is accrued from the fact that you have nothing to offer. And so for you to endear yourself to the regime of the day, you have to do the most. You have to do crazy things. Like even the wash guys around Ruto. Those are guys who know when they are going there, they are thugs, but they are going there with a complete deal. And they are saying, this is all we need. This is your intervention. Piga hii simu moja, hii deal ivane. So you have nothing else to offer. Nothing else. Nani wako Juba? Felix, Ogino, karibu sana. So you have nothing else to offer. That's why you have to resort to extreme sycophancy. You see, so the question here is, are there rewards? Will you be rewarded in heaven for extreme sycophancy? Because one thing you should know, Chief Nega says, this behavior is ingrained in the Kikuyu community from the colonial days when Ngati were rewarded. Ngati is home guard. We used to call them Gati. They are the home guards. They are the people who are, colonial policemen, colonial chiefs. They are the ones who are the overlords. Like the guy who shot Dedan Kimathi. He died a pauper. He was only paid peanuts. A Kikuyu guy, I forgot his name. He was paid peanuts in recognition of his extreme sycophancy, his adoption of the white man's ways, and his betrayal of the cause of liberation. He was paid. I think he died sometime there. There is no reward for betrayal. There is no reward for going against the grain of your community. These people will learn the hard way. You will get temporary reprieve, temporary Delvana, Santi, the Devki story example. So you will get rewarded in the interim. You'll be given some perks, some handouts, and afterwards you're expendable, because the line is so long of people who are willing to bend over backwards. They're so long. Sycophants who are just ready to mortgage their clout, their influence, their voice, their position in society, just to promote the depravity of Kenya Kwisha. I was telling you about Devki. Devki is a businessman of repute. He knows what he wants to control. William Dolan from New York, karibu sana. William Dolan, asante sana. Hawa ndio ukisikia nikitaja mtu kama William Dolan, Zilao, au ndio pesa yao wamesema haitapotelea kule TikTok. Wakiona manyash hawatakuwa hapo. Hiyo ndio they are saying they want to be part of a new Kenya. Watching from Houston, Kevo, asante sana. So anyway, sycophancy does not pay. There is another sycophant I want to show you called Raphael Tuju. Raphael Tuju was against the grain of the Nyanza region during the Kibaki era, and he had gotten the delusions. White Webuye, Joseph Kamotho, nobody remembers them because they were useless sycophants. So Raphael Tuju had the delusions that he's going to replace Raila as the kingpin or the spokesman of the Nyanza region. Clearwater, Florida, P. Masha, karibu sana. P. Masha, you follow me on Twitter, You follow me on Twitter, Sata Masagana. So what was I telling you? So your Raphael Tuju then started doing stuff with Kibaki and everything, and he exhibited extreme sycophancy. And afterwards, he became a sycophant of Uhuru. But just the other day, was it last month, I saw he's still being auctioned, his house, he has nothing. So did extreme sycophancy help him? No, it just gave temporary reprieve. P. Masha, asante sana bana. Nimekuwa na tweets zako bana, I need to follow you back, man. Namba, mumeona vile watu wanacheza hapa, Hapa do ni lazima mtarudisha hapa. Ile do yote mumepatia Nyako. Nyako kuna mtu alikuwa anasema kuna estimate alimepata 30M in gifts za TikTok. Mimi simunipatie hiyo do muone vile nitatetemesha huku. makesi huku kila mahali za makaunti na nini. Kini nyinyi sasa ni manini mulipenda. Mike Omperti ako juu Jamaica, karibu sana. So it gives you temporary reprieve, but it doesn't hide the fact that you have nothing to offer. The only capital that you're bringing to the table is that you're going to go there and nitakufanyia PR, nitakufanyia hivi, and then you appeal, and then you're thrown for a few coins here and there. Devki has an industry. He knows what needs to be done. They can lock in anti-competitive practices. For instance, the Competitions Authority 3 months ago fined Devki and all other steel manufacturers for collusion and price fixing. Yeah, collusion and price fixing. So there is already a report in existence, and you're going to Google it later, from the Competition Authority that steel manufacturers in Kenya, huyo ako Mombasa, asante sana Prof. Sunday Anthony, siogopi Nyaunyo. No, Kibe, ndio huyo Afroman David Chege, asante sana. Asante sana. Hao ndio, these are the real patriots, people who are supporting independent journalism. These are the real patriots, not you guys who are supporting Nyash. BNZA1, karibu sana. Hata yeye amesema he's supporting real independent journalism. Everything you're consuming on Getheri Media, on Twitter, all these other influencers, they are on the payroll of somebody. Me, I want to remain independent. So if you read that report about Devki and other steel manufacturers, they colluded to fix the price, which was not based or even correlating with the can we call it the global average or the global index. So through their connection with the political establishment, they are able to gain. So Devki akienda pale akona deal imeivana because he's already a producer. He's already selling something in the product, in the market, everything. He wants tenders. Anafanya madeal hizi za affordable housing. So he already has something to give, however much flawed it is, but at the end of the day, he has something to offer. Now this, you will not see him doing PR, na tweets, na manini, na messages saying Ruto is the next best thing after sliced bread. Yeah, anajua akinunulia mtu nini Rolls Royce Ghost, Cosette, madeal kule zitateremka kuingia. So that's you. So even you now, we are not, huyo ananiambia nisiogopi Nyahunyo ya kife. I have told you I can be a fan of somebody's content. I can be a fan of somebody's music, but I can hate your politics. You understand? Just because I like your music does not make me obligated to listen to your political crap. I'm a fan of Jay-Z. I have most of his songs are off-head. I quote them on my videos. But Jay-Z saa zenye walishikana sasa na akina Obama, and then I know what Obama did with the Arab Spring, all the destabilization alifanya North Africa. Sunday Anthony sema, all the destabilization in North Africa and Middle East, everything that he did. I'm like, yo, Jay-Z, I like your music, I hate your politics. It's simple. You have to be forthright with the people you follow. Even everyone, and Samidoh like now is connected to the regime, and that's why he's all over in our faces, but we don't know his music. And somebody was telling me, how do you know Samidoh's music is bad and you don't listen to it? Samidoh's music, you just log into social media, there's some influencer paying it, and you know that influencer is paid, is playing it, and you know influencers don't do things for free. So you pull up like this on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok, you're there, you're listening to, he's there, and then I'm like, why am I listening to this guy? Why is he dominating media? Why is he coming on page 3 of Nation? Do his domestic issues supersede our national conversations? No. So this is it. This is what you should identify with. You should tell the people you follow, even though they are influencers and everything, I like your content, I like your whatever, but I hate your politics. Because the contract between a content creator an influencer or whatever. Kevin Mongai, asante sana bro. Haba na haba hujaza kibaba, asante sana. You're better off than wenye wanatumia Joki Murira pesa ya kuonyesha nini, then the storm dynasty. Francis Wambugu anasema TikTok money seems like a scheme for money laundering. We're gonna get to that. Navigator 1 Navigator 1 amesema nyash itabidi ikae. Paul Bradley ako Rusinga Island, karibu sana. So you have any even Raila, like I like Raila, I chilled with him, but when he was talking about Uhuru and when I interviewed him, he said some positive things about Uhuru, and I said I'm not going to post that. I like you, but your association with Uhuru is a baggage to you when you don't know. And so today the hashtag that has been trending is Uhuru fixed Raila. Suddenly huyu wako Juja Kenyatta Road Roba Hope, asante sana. So suddenly it's dawned on Azimio followers like an epiphany that Uhuru went out of his way to sabotage Raila's presidential bid. And I was wondering, why are you so blind and not see it? First of all, you removed, you forced Polycarp Igathe for that direct nomination. You removed somebody who was popular. A place like Kasarani, they removed a chick, she's called Mombi Ouko, or something, Wambui Ouko, something, and then they forced that chick called Gakuya, she lost. They tinkered with the electoral laws, which blocked Akina Jimmy Wanjigi, Ekuru Okot, Ruben Kigame, and all these other people who wanted to vie for president. And those guys would have absorbed the 200,000 votes that Ruto purportedly or allegedly won with. Yeah? Bajunis, remind me, I'm going to talk about those Bajunis. Because somebody did a follow-up video. So Kangemi, Moses M, karibu sana. So those interventions led to Raila's loss. They were engineered by Uhuru. Uhuru was forcing his way, imposing his way. He even put Boniface Mwangi there, embedded with Mother Karua and whatever. And later, I told you, when people are angry at each other, those are the things you put in your head. When Boniface Mwangi had an online spat with David Ndii, sometimes June this year, David Ndii said that Boniface Mwangi has been on the payroll of Ruto. Unaona? So in my analysis, the Kenyatta family criminal enterprise would be more comfortable with a Ruto presidency because they know Ruto, he can be bent, he can be bought with money. But Raila is a maverick, or he's unstable. His ideology is unstable, and it is founded, is like Malema. Ruto thought they were together. And Malema was trolling Raila but when he came to Kenya, he said, I thought Ruto was a good guy. Ruto, kumbe, you are a scam. You are saying this, you are contradicting yourself. You're what? Me, I'm not with you anymore. So it's the same thing with Raila, because of his, his historical background, his activism credentials and whatnot. The Kenyatta family would feel unsafe with this guy, because this guy probably anaweza amka siku moja aseme, let's implement the Ndongo land report, where it has been seen that the Kenyatta family have acquired land. You understand? So they would be safer in the hands of, unasikianga, in whose hands are you safe? So for the Kenyatta family criminal enterprise, they would need somebody who is equally or more corrupt than them. So today, Uhuru fixed Raila was trending because it suddenly dawned on them. He is the one who is splitting Azimio right now. He's the one who is, I don't know what, he's doing some funny things. But even Azimio did not, or ODM did not need Uhuru in the first place. In fact, he was a liability. Raila would have gotten a lot of votes. Njero karibu sana. Eve Kagesh in Njero. Oh. You see, so you need to relate. You need to understand your environment. You need situational awareness so that you can know the kind of characters you're dealing with. Yeah, I've just done a list right now. I don't know whether to tackle this issue now or to to do it in a separate cover. But I want to take you down memory lane, because I told you, for you to get a full 360 experience on my content, you have to follow me on TikTok, on all places, because sometimes I'll post content. So let me see how many views I have on this. On Twitter, I have 13,500 views, and I just posted it like an hour ago. So here is a list of clubs which died between 2013 and 2022 because of Uhuru Kenyatta's jealousy, where through a concoction of interventions triggered after bribes from ASAL governors, and pandering to religious leaders, that is corrupt clergy, he introduced alcoblow. And hata kabla tukuwe na COVID, even before COVID, there was already curfews in different urban areas where police would start arresting people from as early as 7, 8 p.m. You understand? So, hizi vitu ndio ziliua nightlife Nairobi. And we started counting the bars, and I'm going to take you down memory lane, because when I started going through this list, I almost shed a tear, because this place is just good memories. So we have Simas, Tacos, Chopez, Veranda, Kengeles, Sherlock's Den, Princess, Dodis, Zip, Zanze, Mojos, Sevens, Club Rumors, Club Thunder, Nectar, Attitude, Winkers, Souls, Fahrenheit, Embakasi, Club Batties, Tomboya, Sabina Joy, Steps, Applebee's, Monyo Road, Polo Club at the Hilton, Oasis, Zodiac, Edge, Wine Bar, Samba, Black Diamond Westie, Red Tip Westie, Bacchus Westie, Changes Westlands, Club Katika Westlands, Super Mambo Ngara, Kitindo, North Airport North Road, Maxland, Clanix, Mfangano Street, Tanaja, B Club in Kilimani, Kiza, Roadhouse, Taras in Buruburu, Giggles, Tribeca, Red Robin, Monaco Kasarani, Waves Lounge, Tomboya, Bavon, Space Lounge, Ngong Road, Native Sticker Road, Old Divai, 44, Mojos, Saez Langata, Zingi Utawala, Gates Utawala, Summit Grill Utawala, Utah Gardens Utawala, Club 1 Too Many Utawala, Kitindo Utawala, Visa Place Upper Hill, Shebin Upper Hill, Florida 1 and 2 CBD, Nyanza House, Harris Tavern, Smoothers, Shade Hotel, unakumbuka Karen Shade Hotel, Sips Outdoors, Choma Zone Thika Road, Rafiki's Langata, Banditos Westlands, Pavement Westlands, Jikoni's Kiambu Road, Hilton Hotel, Intercontinental Hotel, Grand Regency Hotel, ukienda hapo inakaa kama choo. It's now just a junkyard. Galileo Lounge, Dolce Club, Mamba Discotheque, Cactus Green Corner, JK's, Soho's, Barcode, Gypsies. These are now those. Hizo ni zenye nimefikiria just typing from my phone off my head. Now you can imagine, if I've come up with a list of 83, you can imagine in total there could be 200. Now, if each of these establishments is employing directly and indirectly a minimum of 100 people, that's how many jobs have gone. They've disappeared in thin air. Don't forget, they still support suppliers, service providers. They still other feeder jobs hapo nje, watu wa car wash, masoja na manini. Now, you know, Uhuru was a very vindictive and jealous person. He hated seeing people having fun. There was this one time alienda akaona watu wanapiga sherehe. He was driving, akaoda police waeke roadblock pale Thika Road time ya COVID. That's him, because he wanted us, or he assumed we were his subjects. And so we, in his mind and in his mother's and brothers' minds, they assumed that our work was to stroke their bloated egos. These are people who've stolen trillions in our tax money. The mother was involved in poaching of elephants. And we are still entertaining them. I can still see idiots coming there to say, Afadhali Uhuru. No, Ruto is trash. Uhuru is trash. The none is the solution to the other. Martin Odur, unaniuliza maswali ya upuzi wewe. Nonsense. So I'm trying to show you the implications of bad governance. I'm trying to show you when you are carried away by propaganda, you are not, you can't stop. You can't stop to think. What is my thoughts on Orengo touring India with pro-Ruto? These guys, man, me, I'm tired, man. Let's get rid of these boomers, man. Let's just get rid of these boomers. There is no science there. It's just, there's nothing peculiar. It just shows you that perhaps nini hawa wanarudiana. So mnaona vile mnanitoanga timing nikiwa na kuniuliza maswali za upuzi. So hata ni my train of thought ina disappear. Reminisce, someone, you forgot reminisce at Wilson Airport. Bob's located at Nyali Center, Mombasa. Watu wa Mombasa, you remember Bob's the way it was a popping club, man. You know, this list was just for Nairobi. I wanted to do one for, for Mombasa. I can do one for Thika, for Nakuru. Nakuru kulikuwa na clubs hizo zilikuwa zinaitwa Savannah na wapi. So Rim Club Langata, Kevin Mongai amesema hata achwa nyuma na wanaume wengine wenye ambao wanatumia wamama wa kuonyeshana Thunderstorm Dynasty. So this is real. This is, unaona, we are talking about over 100,000 jobs because I haven't even included casinos. Nairobi, Nakuru, mtu wa Nakuru unamuona Frederick anasema Dimples, all those clubs died. Yes, there are others, but it doesn't mean that because this club has opened, he ifunge. That is what has been happening in Nairobi. All can coexist. Coco Savannah. So all of this happened, and it was I was always tweeting this stuff, man. I was always tweeting it. But nyinyi ni nani? Nyinyi mulikuwa pale 2017, mungewaona pale na Ben Githai. Ben Githai is a chokora, an illiterate chokora. How can he influence your voting decisions? That's why I was asking you, how do these Geshagi guys convince you who to vote for? Njogu anasema Bubbles Naivasha, yeah. All these places died. And that is the first sign of a booming economy. It is a bubbling and a booming nightlife. That is a sign of a booming economy. Usiambiwe nini ati everything. Sasa now we have tailored the entire government to be placating to wamama wa kanisa. Kwani wamama wa kanisa wako na kura ngapi? Ati sasa tufunge. I remember I would go, if I wanted to change money in there was always either a casino open, or there were some guys who used to be up or simmers kwa hiyo roundabout. They were just moonlighting, changing money. Those guys, they started disappearing slowly by slowly. Right now, I don't know even which casino is, but I think in Nairobi probably there. But there was a casino in every corner. And do you know what used to happen? All the tourists who are in Kenya, all the tourists who are coming on layovers, on what, they would leave a lot of money in the country. Chris Kobi akolodwa karibu sana Kaka Blaza. They would leave money. Wamekuja hapo, tourist anaingia F2 anapatana na muhudrat anamnyorosha hapo kitu kama $200. Unaona amelipa rent, amesomesha, amenunua maziwa ya mtoto. So I don't understand who came and convinced you that alcohol is bad. Is these religious guys? They come and tell you alcohol is bad. Can they show us how much taxes they pay, these idiots? Can they show us? Because we cannot be, can we say, overhauling our entire life, our entire Kem explains, Akoroiro, karibu sana, KEYM, very good guy, very top TikToker, utampata pale TikTok anaitwa KEYM explains, jamaa boy wangu sana, namwambia akuje huku, akuje YouTube sasa. TikTok tuachie watoto, tukuje huku sasa. Now we have serious people, yeah. Kuna fans kubwa wa Coco Savannah hapa, Samba, Kitoko, Sting, Lucky Casino, Nax Vegas imekufa siku hizi. All of the religious leaders came and convinced you, but it's because they were accessories of bad governance, and in their stupidity they assume that club zikifungwa watu waache kukumwa. Strapsils ziliisha, tuongeze au leo cheza na hot honey lemon bro, cheza nayo. They assume that tukiacha kukunywa pombe ati hizo pesa tutapeleka kanisa. Now you have to be clear with me, and I told you, nilikuwa natoka disco na naenda kanisa, and I always had white eye drops zile za whiten macho zinaitwa Vicin. I always had them juu na nikitoka kanisa na naenda naekelea pesa. Sasa zenye niliona ile game inachezwa na religious leaders, because I started seeing it a long time ago, from 2014 when I stopped religiously attending church, when kanisa yetu tunaona hapo pastor ati wametumiwa circular to read promoting Uhuru's imaginary achievements. I was like, yo, mimi nimekuja huku nikihepa upuzi ya nini, nikihepa upuzi ya Uhuru huku nje, ni propaganda. Sasa imenikuta kwa kanisa. This is rubbish. Yeah? Alcohol industry and medical industry are major taxpayers in Denmark. So you cannot just wake up and say ati alcohol ni mbaya ati juu a few stupid women have been protesting kwa barabara sijui huko Keno, wameshikana na women rep huyu anaitwa Wamuratha. Wamuratha is masking the fact that because she's an intellectual dwarf, she cannot make a contribution in parliament, she has not fronted any bill. Sasa hizi side shows za huku nje ndio atatumia kuonekana ati anafanya kazi. You had casinos everywhere. But the economy inaenda, na hata time ya Moi sasa zenye tulikuwa tunaambiwa huko ndio kubaya sana. That's when your nightlife ilikuwa imeshika. So who is this who came to convince you? And then now the irony and the contradiction here is that Uhuru is a functional alcoholic and chain smoker. He's the last person who should be cracking down on nightlife, lakini walishikana huko na akina Kidoro. Unakumbuka hapo Jamia Mosque ati wakakuja wakaleta some regulation ati kusikue na bar there near Jamia Mosque. Watu watoke. Imagine who are these people who are imposing their religious biases in a cosmopolitan city, while even the constitution says that we are not a religious country, we are a cosmopolitan economy. Wilson Kariuki anasema mimi ujam daily, unataka nifurahi nicheke kama unataka, you want me to twerk ili ufurahi? Would you like me to twerk? You're in the wrong place if you are looking for happiness here. If you are looking for happiness and joy, there are so many people who are twerking. Robin from Tinga, alcohol consumption has been criminalized in Kenya. Why are they criminalizing it? Why are they criminalizing it? Tuko na deni yao tuwalipe. These religious leaders hatuna deni yao, wakashikana na Kameme na Nyoro. Proliferation of ruralism. How watu wanakuja kutuambia nini mambo ya pombe? Asanti sana Mr. Chris Kobia amesema amenunulia hiyo inaitwa dawa ya menthol, amenunulia hapo. Amesema ni wahubirie muokoke, muache upumbavu, muache kubebwa ufala. How watu wa religion nini, what contribution do they have to the economy? Wametujengia makanisa huku, zimejaa huku. Sasa mtu na bado wakigonjeka wanataka tuwapatie pesa, tuwafanyie mchango. Makanisa there is just, if you go everywhere there is a white elephant. Ruaraka, nimepita Ruaraka nikaona kichachi kingine kiko hapo pande hapo pana Total petrol station, kuna kichachi kingine kikubwa. Why couldn't they have built a hospital? Paul Bradley ameambia Wilson Kariuki aende anyonge TikTok. Anyonge kanugu. Aende anyonge kanugu TikTok. Soon wataendea manganya. You know, anytime unaona watu hiding behind self-righteousness, encroaching on businesses, kama saa hii walikuja hapo akina Kibaki, anything youth related, na ndio nilimwambia naenda jopo. Churches, we have churches but no industries. Anytime you see them encroaching on your freedoms, they're encroaching on your businesses, but they hide behind self-righteous sentiment. Uliona walishika tule tutoto tulikuanga tule tutoto tulikuwa tunasema nini pale TikTok, wanaweza shika hao watoi within 24 hours, lakini corrupt politicians is where they draw the line. Wazee wenye wanaiba pesa yetu. And then they think we are going, no, don't be celebrating. I was saying, guys, because you've not taken a time to study the patterns of oppression. Una celebrate, nini. These guys were just doing nonsense on social media, wakashikwa. Kama walishikwa haraka hivyo, mbona these guys kwani wajui kule politicians wanaishi? It's rubbish, man. It's rubbish. Frederick Lemiso anasema Tuskys Nakumatt ilikufa. You know, when they were destroying Uhuru, before he did something, he had to manufacture consent. Harambe every Sunday drove people away. You cannot fellowship in peace. Huyo ni David Chege. Zilawa ananiambia nikasirike kabisa. So before Uhuru did anything, it was preceded by a narrative. It was preceded by a campaign to destroy something. For instance, now saa zenye alikuwa anataka kufunga Charter House na Nakumatt, because he was targeting their owners. There was no merit to whatever allegations that he was doing. But sasa akaleta mambo ya drugs, mambo ya cocaine, sijui ship inablowiwa pale Mombasa nini, water, a lot of nonsense. But it was his interventions. If he wanted to destroy you, he first, kama saa hii venye alikuwa namaliza nightlife na pombe, alishikana na watu wa kanisa, wakaitwa State House. Religious leaders and Mount Kenya leaders, they were charged. They were told, go and destroy the business. Wakaingia kwanza kwa ma wines and spirit, wakaenda hivyo wanamwaga hizo chupa. Can you imagine? Thika, the idiots of Thika. Thika is riddled by idiotic people. The MP ule no, Samuel Kimani. I was invited to Spice FM. I turned it down. I don't trust those spaces, man. I think those guys are too connected to the establishment, so I don't feel safe within some spaces. So anyway, I would want to go there if I was. I think those guys are connected to the regime. I think they are very connected. So because of the guests they've been hosting, juzi wamekuwa na Treasury CS, leo wamekuwa na Ichungwa. Tourists pay to visit breweries like Heineken. Unaona vile tumeandikiwa hapo. So it was Uhuru's interventions were always preceded by a narrative. They had to curate a narrative, to curate an idea, and then onboard you people. You had to, even when the lockdown curfew. But now they were the wakaita religious leaders, wakaita Mount Kenya MPs, wakaenda hivyo. So I was telling you, Thika people are so stupid. They re-elected the MP mwenye alienda kuvunja makampani zenye zilikuwa zinafanya distilleries huko wanatengeneza mapombe. And they elected her again. Because of who? Because of religious leaders. Thika people are brainwashed by corrupt clergy. Wakiambiwa na mapasta wafanya hivi wanafanya. Wakiambiwa na Kameme wafanya hivi na Nyoro wanafanya. So that's why I'm telling you, to liberate ourselves, it is taking so much time and effort. I'm here. I should be doing some productive business. Lakini niko hapa tukiongea, because the more we are trying to make progress, the more nyinyi mnaachwa nyuma. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. You say you have to change your ways. You have to change how you. Ati Emmanuel Kuto anasema Uhuru was ati his leadership was prophesied. The most hilarious of those narratives za Kikuyu Council of Elders was that Uhuru knew they are rich and so he won't steal. Nyinyi watu ni wasenge. Banza anaambia David Chege ACK ni wash ile tu mbaya, wanakubali matusi kwa church. Brayo ako Kayole. Karibu sana Brayo. So it's crazy, it's sick. I don't know how we are going to move, but we need to onboard young people with facts. We need to arm you with facts. We are not doing mudslinging, we are not doing hating, we are giving you facts. Ati tulikuwa na hizo baa zote nimekusomea hapo na zimefungwa and 100,000 jobs have gone. That's why everyone is dying to go to the Middle East, because these are people who had jobs. Alikuwa anaenda nyumbani na salary na tips. Every day anaenda nyumbani na salary na tips. You guys, man, you guys have to be serious. And then munaona mtu hana hata aibu, anatoka anasema afadhali uhuru, afadhali uhuru. Nonsense. Unajisikianga ukisema vitu zingine. Uchumi, they were 24 hours. Mimi nilikuwa natoka sherehe kama nimeingia Nakumatt ya Uhuru Highway. Fanya shopping hapo, nanunua hata chakula. Kuna hii uchumi ilikuwa Ngong Road, nayo walikuwa natengeneza ma sandwich zingine bomba. Bomba. Ian Ngugi anamuuliza, did you really expect anything good to come from ICC and ITs? War criminals. Do you know war crimes is the highest crime in the planet? There is no other bigger crime than war crimes. So you expected people who have been indicted by the ICC to deliver positivity to your lives. These people have negative energy, low vibrational energy. That's why they are stuck with influencers who are constantly keeping you in a state of anxiety. You're always on the edge. Haujui umekasirika kwa nini, unaona tu umejam, unaona watu wamekosana kwa WhatsApp groups because of the content you're consuming. Full content is food for the brain. And so you have somebody there coming and telling you, no, the economy is doing well. Nini, huyu mtu hata hajakaa Kenya hata 3 days, ashaanza kutuambia how the economy is great. And the numbers themselves, hata mwenyewe Treasury CS mwenyewe anasema hakuna pesa kwa sababu wameiba yote. Huyo anaitwa Lilian Oanda. Please reconsider getting on Spice, reach a wider audience. Don't be scared of the establishment. I will reconsider. Asante sana Lilian, thank you for the boost. Asante sana na wamama wameanza ku pull up kwa show karibu sana karibu sana. Huyo anasema hiyo is shipping Kenyans abroad is classic slavery. So this is the strategy. They kill your opportunities domestically. You're left with no option but to start looking for greener pastures abroad. That's exactly what was happening. So they know the end game. They have their end result, and then now they work backwards. Sasa tufanye nini? Tuweke alco blow Nairobi. So kuna alco blow moja on all access and exit points from Nairobi. And so you, because you don't want to risk, unaanza kukunywa huko kwa malocals, unakunywa kwa nyumba, umedeny watu kazi. That redistribution is the one which kept the economy floating. Geeky anasema Kibe ni puny. No, Kibe is just being because he has this persona of being, that gangsterism, and to see him simping for a corrupt regime is new territory for his own fans. His own fans cannot relate. But this guy is always banging tables, telling us this and that, and suddenly you become a simp. You've become the very thing that you've been telling us not to be. You see, that contradiction has left very many people dejected. People need to understand the damage they inflict on their brands in the long run when you embark on such contradictory behavior. You don't need to, if you have a good product, if you have value, you don't need to subject yourself to inhumane undertakings like doing PR, like what David Ndii and Mutahi Ngunyi do every day. I always blame Justice Lenaola for clearing Uhuruto to run. It's good. These are things we should be regurgitating in public, because I saw Jimmy Wanjigi also blaming Justice Lenaola for refusing to grant orders against, was it BBI or something? There was something. There was something Jimmy Wanjigi. Is now the second time I'm hearing Lenaola being mentioned. So you relate politics, na ndio unaambiwa siasa mbaya maisha mbaya. If you don't take an interest in politics, politics will take an interest in you. So you should not be one of those people who are so mimi sishughulikangi napo. Hapana. Secondly, you look at the people who have kept you in this cycle of oppression. Is who? Is the media, mainstream media? Is the corrupt clergy? Is who? Though, then you detach yourself. You stop going to church. Stop funding them. Stop feeding their psychosis. Stop feeding them, because it's your money. It's your money that has made them wafure vichwa. They've become so arrogant. They've become so aloof. They don't want to. They even stopped doing genuine spiritual and humanitarian outreach, because now they are making enough money from what? From bribes from the government. So once you understand this is the pattern, these are the accessories. I saw your comment kwa Andrew Kibe on, if you went on his Twitter, post, and you saw how guys blasted him. He must have been in shock. I know it looks like he did something good because he got the views and whatnot. But the comments there, because the people who work for the regime, the Itumbis and whatnot, even them, they go through the comments of their posts. And they are recruiting these new people. What would I do different if I was the president of Kenya in the circumstances were right? That's a question from Chris Kobia. You see, I have my pen over here. I don't want to, that is something I can do. I can touch on it today, but also, but there is no rocket science with fixing the economy. There is no rocket science. This is just corruption which is happening. So I would do what Kibaki did. I would stop borrowing locally. I would allow independent bodies which have been created by the constitution to maintain checks and balances on governance, governance and accountability and transparency. I would let them work without interference, without meddling. And I would create, as opposed to tax measures, I would create tax incentives. So if it's like the creative economy, instead of taxing them, I would be zero rating things. I was talking about something like the coffee industry. India Forex reserves is $530 billion. I was talking about the coffee industry, Chris Kobia. And we've been seeing Rigiji just yapping every morning about coffee reforms. He's not doing anything really. In fact, he's a stumbling block. The only reforms we need is deregulation. We deregulate all the laws because coffee is so highly regulated, creating all these parastatals, which are just hemorrhaging money. So deregulation, you collapse the unnecessary parastatals and bureaucracy. Number two, you allow people to do their business. Can you imagine if we had a potato regulatory authority? If we had a potato development fund, potato farming would have died. You understand? If we had a maize growers and what, the only reason those farmings exist is because they are not regulated. So regulation is a way of stifling industry. So you deregulate. Now for coffee, the second thing, what do? To create a buffer. Because if EABL, if the EABL is the biggest mover of alcohol in Kenya and they make a profit, not even turnover, and they make a profit of what, 14 billion or something. Now we need to recruit local coffee drinkers. So how do we recruit local coffee drinkers? We have to boost local production. So you zero rate any equipment involved in home or commercial roasting, grinding, packing, presenting, because coffee, and I put in a video which I got somewhere there. Flo C, asanti sana Flo C amesema ana join wamama wenzake ambao wanataka kukuwa liberated from the yoke of corruption. Asanti sana for supporting independent journalism. Thank you very much. So what you do is you create a conducive environment. So you create incentives, not measures, not tax interventions and measures. It is incentives. So what do? Anything, you zero rate anything that can be imported as regards to coffee, because you need all these percolators, you need the grinders, you need the cappuccino machine. And then because they are so cheap, if you see them on Alibaba, you can see a cappuccino machine costing $10. Lakini shida, ukianza shipping alafu ifiki hapa, hiyo kitu ishafika $40. You see, it's expensive. But you, if you want one for your own home, and then now you start buying, unaenda kwa farm gate. Kama vile tu unanunuanga mahindi ama unga wa mtama ama nini ama mchele. Ukienda pale Mwea vile mchele, you go there, every factory should have a place where they sell to the local consumer market. So unaenda unanunua your coffee in terms of beans, you roast for yourself, you grind for yourself, you percolate for yourself. Have you ever drunk well percolated Kenyan coffee? You will go crazy, man. So boosting domestic production as opposed to all the time relying on export. Yes, we can have both. Both can coexist. So the same thing with what we are doing with agricultural inputs and machinery, zero rate all of them, so that it's almost like giving farmers an incentive. So that now we can be food secure and we start exporting. Shortly we turn ourselves from import dependent economy to exporters. Those are the minor, but there is so much more I can think about. That this is just a passive conversation, just bouncing off ideas. But it's not rocket science, and it's things that these guys know. They deliberately choose not to do that because they know they'll get away with it. They know they'll come to church. I saw Rigiji saying that, you know how our economy we found it. Give us time. He's using that tone, that religious tone, always flanked by corrupt clergy. A simple chaff cutter in Kenya is 45,000 Kenya shillings. Half of that, I'm sure, is in taxes. You see, so those are the things, the minimal things you can do to spur your economy. Things like electricity, the power is because of a few independent power producers. They are the ones who are making us get overcharged over here. So it's not rocket science. These guys know what needs to be done. They choose not to because they know they can get away with it. They know they can just waende live kwa TV pale waongee, nyinyi muongee, wa trend kwa Twitter, and they have achieved their day. Can you imagine president kama leo the president ameshinda nini inaitwaje, State House, I don't know, collecting CVs from diplomats, and then anapigwa picha and then inaingia TikTok and then it trends, and that is a day. Hiyo amefanya kazi. That's how low we demand. We've come to demand from our politicians that anaweka tu picha ati receive, anacheka, cracking still jokes. Yeah? Cracking still jokes ati sasa amecheka na nini. So ati now suddenly sasa amefanya kazi ya maana sana. As long as you stop entertaining them, they will understand that it's not business as usual. They will understand, they will correlate that this is not business as usual. If you stop entertaining them, if you stop making them trend, if you stop watching their live broadcasts where they are just politicking day and night, that's all. The power is in your hands. Stop consuming their crap. Stop listening to Kameme and Nyoro. Stop doing all these other shenanigans that you're doing. You're trending them, you're responding them, you're giving them engagement in their scripted and manufactured tweets and what. All of that has an end game. Samuel Musyoka is telling you Kenyans love PR. You are addicted to cheap thrills. If you stop consuming their crap, they will change. If you stop consuming their crap, if you stop, the things will change slowly by slowly. Today I did something about Susan Kehika. Susan Kehika ameweka TikTok, a very long one, and I went somewhere, I sat with people on the grass, and they were telling, you're giving us cock and bull stories. The budget for Nakuru is 17 billion. You cannot show us any legacy project you have done other than buying a new Land Rover, TDI Defender, hii mpya. Hiyo tu ndio amefanya. And it goes down to the county and to the MPs. If you start telling them, I don't have time to listen to you, can you show us? Because all the information is in the public domain. Can you show us what you have done with 17 billion? Yesterday, Anne Waiguru was trending. Nikauliza, why is she trending? Has she opened a referral hospital? The budget for Kirinyaga County is 5 billion, 6 billion per year. So if you've been in office for 7 years, can you tell us what you've done with 40 billion Kenya shillings? Have you opened a referral hospital? If Kenyatta Teaching and Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital cost 10 billion, and it only costs 10 billion because it's a teaching and referral hospital. So you could do a better hospital with less. So have you done that for your county? If we are not having that conversation, then you as citizens, you are the ones who should be telling them that if you're not telling us what you are launching, then we have no business listening to you. It's the same thing with, I saw MPs yesterday, they cannot petition, they cannot put the Treasury CS to task. He comes there without any honor or shame and says that Kenya is broke. There is no money to pay to launch new projects, no new infrastructure projects. Kenya last financial year collected 2.1 trillion in taxes, and then they got loans worth 2 trillion. So that's 4.1 trillion. They have not launched any single development project. They've just been rebranding and repainting Uhuru's old projects. Them is another scandal in itself. So what are you? Eh? What are you, Eric Dolph? He's telling you Waiguru power couple were best man and best lady at Silly MP's wedding. Those MPs, Betty Maina and Eric Wamombi, have never spoken in parliament at a maiden speech. Why do you demand so little of your elected leaders? Why do you tolerate their garbage? This is bullshit of the highest order. Why do you entertain their nonsense? So if somebody is not telling you, this is the project I have launched, this is the factory I have built, this is the what I have done. If somebody is not giving you that language, then you have no business entertaining their garbage. JK Kenya, Irongo Kangata is getting old money, the aristocrats of Muranga to try and give him new and fresh ideas. That's a PR stunt. These guys do all these PR stunts knowing that they are going to carry you away with their cheap thrills. You need to stop entertaining them until they show you this is the project I've done. All the information about Muranga and how much they are supposed to be spending in every financial year is available. So you should be asking them. You're telling me you have spent 5 billion on salaries, paying salaries. Kwani umeandika nani huku? Have you employed Elon Musk? Or have you employed who? If you don't, now, me, I'm not the one now to do the work for everyone. Now you have to revert back to your counties. I was telling lawyers, the ones who we have Kenya, because Kenya, I think, has the highest number of lawyers probably in the world. Lawyers should be, every year, each should be doing one public interest pro bono case, preferably as regards to the national or county government. So they can go through the budgets, they see the loopholes because there are loopholes everywhere, and then they say, here, let's go and take a court order so that you want to spend this amount of money claiming that you're paying workers and it's a lie. So you get a court order to block them. So we don't have to wait for 2027. We don't have to wait for 2027. We start now. We start grinding this government to a halt. Okay? Santeni sana kwa kukaa na mimi hapa with my anger issue. Santeni sana. Mr. Kobia, I will still do your unexpanded of what minimal interventions can be done. Wilson Kariuki, you cannot tell me Irongo Kangata is the real deal. Has he built a referral hospital? Has he built a referral hospital in Muranga? Does Muranga have street lights, functional street lights everywhere? Has he fixed everything as regards to Muranga? No, he's an idiot. So yeah. So let's keep engaging. I don't know whether I'll make it tomorrow. Is Friday. Friday inakuanga ngori. What's your view on having politicians holding ministries where we go back to zero every election time? I think the roads in Murang'a are incredible. Jesus. Anyway, some of us Kenyans, we are all of these political questions. Today, I wanted to talk about the propaganda, the Kibe. I've told you, Guitar, when you're saying kafakafogo, it means that you have daddy issues. I told you to stop looking for your irresponsible or unavailable parents, absentee parent dads in failed politicians. You know, when you say some things, we ask yourself, did you were your brains fried during the time when we had there was there was a heat stroke when we had a heat stroke, were your brains fried in the process? So today I wanted to talk about the propagandists. I wanted, Andrew Kibe, Boniface Mwangi, David Ndii, Mutahi Ngunyi, and all those characters to know that there is no benefit, there is no end game. You are being used by a regime because you have volunteered yourself to be misused. If I were you with that proximity, I would be fronting serious proposals and giving terms so that you'll make something out of it. But you cannot just be supporting Ruto for the sake of it. There has to be, and that's why I have made the effort to remind you of people who once walked in your shoes, to remind you of Kariuki Chotara, to remind you of Kihika Kimani, to remind you of JJ Kamotho, to remind you of Kuria, people who we don't remember. Those days they were household names as they defended the corrupt Moi regime. We remember Nicholas Biwott because we see his name in big scandals where there is heavy money being discussed, left to the family to eat. These guys, if they tell you JJ Kamotho's daughter, she's called Nyokabi, they tell you the cases she's following up because the dad left them with nothing. The dad left them with zero, despite all the ass kissing. William Dolan amesema Kakiru on the way, asanti sana. Huyo ni mtu wa kusema na kutenda. Huyo amesema pesa yake haitapotelea kwa nyako kule ambayo inaibiwa kule PayPal. Come from Madeira, and the former PA of Gachagua owns a bar which operates 24/7, yet Gachagua is fighting alcohol. Wycliffe, you can see the contradiction with these politicians. You entertain them. Even during lockdown, Loft was open 24 hours because it was owned by an associate of Karanja Kibisho. Eric Gasheru amesema niangalie M-Pesa pia. So you see the contradiction. These guys, when it comes to them, they are able to bend rules, but then they keep on feeding you with narratives, bogging you down with lies. Steve Mutumbu, santi sana kwa kucheka. Tituingize Wajakoya. Wewe Daniel Riri, nonsense. Wazee nyinyi. Used to believe in David Ndii is a polished conman. Why would you believe in him? David Ndii is not next to Ruto because of his economics. He's there because of the clout, because of his Twitter account. Because he tweets something and then it goes on Kenyans, on Tuko and everything, and now he becomes, he trends. But not because he has, fronted an economic model that is functional, that is going to be helping this economy. In fact, he admitted the other day that he's an agent of IMF and World Bank and their structural adjustment programs, that he was there. He's the one who implemented them with Moi. At least Moi tried to fight, tried to resist them. These Kenya Kwisha have jumped on them. They've ran with them completely. So I was here to discuss that the people, especially from the mountain, who are doing the most, who are going out of their way, sticking their necks out, thinking that they are placating to the regime, thinking that they are doing something noble, that I need them to understand that the end is identical to what happened to Kamotho. Told you Kamotho, their family, they are fighting over property, inheritance property. One of his daughter is called Nyokabi. Nyokabi is just grabbing land, pretending that she's whatever, because the dad left them like that, 0-0. So hiyo kupiga magoti yote alikuwa napigia Moi ilikuwa ya kazi gani? And that is the fate that awaits Mutahi Ngunyi, That is the fate that awaits David Ndii. That is the fate that awaits Boni, Andrew Kibe, Isaac Mwaura. That is the fate that awaits them. Because you are defending a rogue regime. You're going against even your own principles. You're doing the devil's work, not the Lord's work. Your people, you think it's fashionable to be against the grain, to be politically correct. But these are not those times. All the information is at our fingertips. We know. With 4.1 trillion and the governor there. And I've told you, when this government is executing its bad policies, they always put a Mount Kenya person. Like now, Professor Jogona Ndongo has been on a tour, media tour, parliament, to try and promote the idea that the Kenya is broke, while we know 4.1 trillion. So he's defending the regime, thinking that it's job security. No, it's not job security. They just have you there until they are done with you, and then you're dumped like a piece of lint. So Mount Kenya people, from we are informed that even from the historical context, Mount Kenya was sold by the home guards, by the chiefs who allowed the white man to pull up, turned landowners into squatters on their own land. It was the chiefs at the time, the Chief Koinange of those years and whatever, they are the ones. These guys went to other places. They went to Masai land. Walifukuzwa huko is Mount Kenya. So there is nothing that is happening that is new. What Akina David Ndii are doing, they think they are reinventing the wheel. Apana, this is a same blueprint, and we are telling them this is the fate that awaits you. This is it. This is the fate that awaits you. You will be dejected. You will be outcasted by the community. Will be laughing at you. You'll be the laughing stock. And you don't represent the people of Mount Kenya. I know you are accessing and you're gaining proximity to the powers that be in the name of Mount Kenya, but you're not representing them. And you're only there, finally, you're only there because you have nothing else to offer. You have nothing else to offer to the establishment. So PR is your only capital. William Dolan, what you're saying is true. It's PR. These guys don't know anything. I told you the only difference between Kenya Kusha and the Moi regime is PR. That's all they do. But these guys, they don't have any incentive to work for you, because they become billionaires. They become billionaires from doing absolutely nothing. They're just entrepreneurs, and they become billionaires. So what incentive do you think they have to work for you? They are billionaires. They don't own any factory. They are not innovators. They are not exporters. They are not agriculturalists, and they are billionaires. Those questions, you should have clouded your mind before you embarked on the psychotic undertaking of electing them. Frank Babs. So anyway, thank you very much. Nimemsukumia hapa 1.5 hours. Sante for today. We were 300. I think this is the highest we've had in a long while. I don't know what pushed it. Is it the headline? Is it what? But keep sharing the link. Let's talk. Let's engage. Support independent journalism, not just mine, but for all the creators out there who are, liberating you with some alternative content. Steve Mutumbu, the M-Pesa number is on the description on this live. I don't know why you are Benson Kamadha. Benson Kamadha ni nani? Benson Kamadha. Santi sana. Everyone who, who has participated here, Flo C, David Chege, everyone. Santi sana. Santeni sana. I appreciate you, all those who I'll be giving you 1.5 hours now, not 1 hour. Kwa hivyo, kwaherini sana. Have a nice weekend. If we meet again, probably Sunday evening, we look at the biggest topic of the day. Then we break it down. Santi sana, kina Chris Kobia, Zilao, everyone, man. I'm here for you, man. You are the guys who motivate me to come here every day. Jana niliona mulikuwa mna watch game. Jana mulikuwa kidogo sana, so nitakuwa nataimanisha sasa zenye hakuna game na pull up. Asante sana Frank Babs, everyone. Cheers man.